Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best brawlers to max out right now with Season 20. Every single season within the Brawl Pass, I do this type of video so you guys know where to spend your power points and who to upgrade with your coins the most, just because of course it's pretty hard to upgrade brawlers throughout the season, so you want to make sure you're focusing on the best. So starting off with one of the best ones in my opinion right now this season, it has to be Gray. So Gray is just so annoying right now, especially since he got that gadget gear for walking canes. It makes it so incredibly hard to actually not feed Gray. His super is able to cycle so well, especially when you're looking at game modes like Knockout, Wipeout. He can be fantastic, and you're actually starting to see him crop up a lot more in some other game modes. So he's incredibly versatile, super strong with the gadget gear, and of course his super can just destroy so many of those squishier brawlers. So moving on to the next brawler you must absolutely max out in this meta, it has to be Fang. So everyone has been asking me what I really think about Fang. I think Fang is a solid brawler. I've been pushing him a lot easier on ladder. I don't think he's near the top 10, but he's definitely going towards the 80 in my opinion. But the game modes where you want to play him the most on have to be his more passive game mode, because that's where you typically see those sharpshooters. You're going to be getting a lot of value out of his super with it. So of course on Knockout and Wipeout, you're going to be able to get a lot of value there. Same with Bounty as well, or just typically again any kind of composition on a long range map where you see maybe two snipers, you're able to pull out a Fang. The reason why he's so strong because he got it buffed to his super damage and also his super charge rate. You combine that as well with 4 gadgets and also the ability just to change so easily. Fang is starting to become a menace in this meta. Moving on to the next brawler you must absolutely max out within the game right now, we have a Piper. So Piper is finally usable again. I've been talking about how Piper has been slowly getting worse and worse. She wasn't even being used in Bounty, where she was always considered like the queen of Bounty for years now, but now she finally got a buff to her max damage. So now her shots really do hit hard. So typically I see Piper now first picked when it comes down to Knockout and Bounty, Knockout, Bounty and Wipeout. No matter what, she's just so incredibly strong. And then I'm starting to see her crop up on the long range maps again, which is crazy because you'd still think Piper was viable on those longer range maps. She wasn't, but now she is. You can start using her on maps like Boom Canyon and Safe Zone again. You can start using her on Backyard Bowl and even sometimes as a gem carrier. So for me, Piper is a must max out. She's so strong. And also you want to make sure that you're getting that extra gadget gear, because with 4 homemade recipes it can be so strong on maps like Shooting Star. Moving on to the next brawler you must absolutely max out within the meta right now, we have Buster. So Buster has been somewhat of an F tier, D tier brawler for a long time now. He used to be like the most broken brawler of all time, and now he's starting to finally get a little bit of love. So there's a couple of reasons why you must absolutely max out Buster. So the first reason is for the gadget gear. Getting 4 slow-mo replays allows him to confirm kills a lot easier and allows him to get a lot more pressure. But he also got a damage buff, and that damage buff definitely does hit a lot harder. For me, you could just straight away tell in his previous state that he just did very little damage. He was just chipping brawlers, but now he can do some consistent damage. And the good thing about Buster, he's actually pretty versatile as long as you're not on a really long range map, but still you can get away with it as long as you're playing really well and make sure to group up with your teammates to cycle your super. But as I mentioned, he's really strong at like Gem Grab, Brawl, can be used on the grassier maps as well, being really sneaky with slow-mo replay. I've seen it a lot right now. I think he's so underrated and very strong. Moving on to the next brawler you must absolutely max out, it is Rosa. So I've been trying to push the Rosa propaganda for a long time now, and trust me, you need to max her out because she's so strong. She's really strong in Gem Grab and Brawl. She can even be used on the more passive game modes as long as it's not really open like Shooting Star, but I see it a lot of the time. And with Rosa, especially when you're playing Power League, you always got to consider her in the draft, because if you don't, she's just gonna completely destroy you. So even I've seen her being used on like Kaboom Canyon for example, and with the addition of the 4th gadget gear, being able to plant 4 bushes and just make it so chaotic, it can make Rosa so versatile and incredibly strong. Moving into the next brawler you must absolutely max out, it is Shelley. So I know you guys are probably surely maxed out Shelley by now, because she's been meta for what, 4 months, 5 months, probably even longer. She's been one of the best brawlers of this year. She finally got a nerf, and then she got a buff because she got hypercharge and also the addition of the 4th gadget gear. It's made her the best brawler inside of the game. And of course, wanting to max out Shelley makes it so you can unlock that hypercharge And a lot of you must have hypercharge anyways from the challenge, so surely you guys have maxed her out anyways, but I've still got to put her on the list because of how strong she is, how versatile she is. She can be used everywhere. She's even better on the bushier maps. Still, 4 clay pigeons just makes her so broken. Moving on to the next brawler you must absolutely max out, it is Nanny. So Nanny is finally receiving some love with the balance changes. She recently got a damage buff, and it's just made her able to two-shot a lot of the squishier brawlers. So that's going to change a lot of interactions and make her incredibly powerful. So now, again, typically Nanny would of course be really strong on knockout and wipeout, but she was only really used to counter other long-range brawlers. But I'm just seeing people first pick a Nanny now because of how powerful she is, and you definitely don't want to mess with her whatsoever. I feel like you can even get away with using her on maps like Hard Rock Mine even to counter other long-range sharpshooters. I think if you've got good aim, you're going to completely delete people with this damage buff. So moving on to the next brawler you must absolutely max out, it is Spike. So I always recommend for people to max out Spike because he's always somewhere sitting at A tier or just creeping near the S tier. He's always pretty solid across the board. You can make a case with him pretty much everywhere except for the really passive game modes like knockout and wipeout, but especially since the addition of hypercharge now, he's even stronger. And I would say he's somewhat underrated because when I push Spike to 1,000 trophies, it's not really a lot, but it was just so easy. It's so easy a lot of the times, especially because of the hypercharge. I'll just wait for the right moment. I know he's got a slow reload speed with hypercharge, but as long as you conserve the ammo and have it super available, you're going to completely just wipe out everybody. He's so incredibly strong, and especially since recently he got a buff to his fertilize and popping pin cushions, he's been even more viable in heist. I think he's so strong right now, and people are underrated him. He can secretly be a top 10 brawler. Moving on to the next brawler you must absolutely max out, it is Brock. So I always recommend to max out Brock because, again, he's always that brawler I feel like people kind of miss in my kind of level anyways, and he's always one of the most go-to. There's not really a lot of Brock counters out there as long as your teammates don't go the same type of brawler like Nanny and another sharpshooter as well, then Brock can always pop off. So in heist, of course, he's incredibly strong. In wipeout and knockout, you can pretty much always go a Brock as long as well you're using the right star powers. In terms of star powers, I pretty much use the more rocket star power all of the time because you can confirm a kill all of the time as long as you don't completely whiff your super. Whilst in comparison to rocket number 4, it's very rare that you actually take the time to reload it all the way up. And still, I'm pretty much using Brock everywhere, even on longer range maps like last stop in gem grab, you can get away with it. Backyard bowl, there's just a lot of long range maps right now, and Brock's going to be able to thrive because of it. Lastly, on the must max out list, we have Taurus. So again, you know, it can be pretty boring because we've already mentioned some updates ago that Taurus is a must max out, but I've got to put her in this list because she's got the 4th gadget gear where she can just spam out for lots of pets, but she only received a small nerf. So in my opinion, she's still like a top 5 brawler in the game right now. And a good thing about Taurus is that the maps really favor her, even on those game modes where typically you won't really see her. You know, for example, wipeout, you can still pretty much use her on Infinite Doom on Layer Bake, for example. Knockout, you probably can't use her, but I've still seen it being used, especially with 4 lots of pets. You probably can even use her in knockout. Of course, gem grab and Brawl, she's so insane. And even on a heist right now, especially with 4 pets, you can get so much damage on the hive safe. So for me, Tara is a must max out. She's so incredibly strong. Let me know down in the comment section below who you think are the must max out brawlers in the game right now. Quite a lot of them have changed, to be honest. You could even argue Bull on here because of the hypercharge, making him a lot more viable. But yeah, let me know who you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.